From the Detroit Free Press, in the heart of the Motor City, it's Wednesday, August 26th. Here are today's top stories.
Brought to you by JB's Smokehouse, located inside Bush's Fresh Food Market of Canton. JB's offers a range of authentic barbecue favorites, from beef brisket and mac and cheese to fried green tomatoes and pulled pork tacos. JB's is sure to become your new favorite barbecue spot.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kerry Jr. II. The state of Michigan reports 779 new cases of the coronavirus and 20 new deaths. 6 deaths were revealed in a review of death certificates. In total, there are over 98,000 COVID-19 cases and over 64,000 deaths statewide. As college students return to campuses in Michigan, coronavirus case counts rise dramatically. That's exactly what happened in Isabella County, home to Central Michigan University. The county declared a health emergency due to college parties. Data shows during the third week in August, when students were moving in, there was a 350% increase in COVID-19 cases compared to the previous week. 92% of positive cases were ages 18 to 24. And CMU officials weren't surprised. The school has suspended all Greek life activity. Under the order, up to 25 people are allowed in the group outside, and no more than 10 people are allowed indoors. Central Michigan is holding in-person instruction. During Tuesday's press conference, Governor Whitmer said Michigan's economy is performing relatively well.
Because we took aggressive action early on to fight this virus, our state is faring a lot better than a lot of states are right now.
Michigan officials projected major revenue losses for the state. Now they're saying that's not the reality. Free Press reporter Paul Egan has more. Early on in the pandemic, it was projected by the state Treasury Department that Michigan was looking at about $3 billion in potential losses in the year 2020. Where is Michigan now?
It's in a much better position. The estimate was actually $3.2 billion shortfall that because tax revenues were going to dry up in this shutdown economy. What they've actually found now that the numbers are actually in, it was only a shortfall of $900 million. So the new numbers for 2020 are $2.3 billion better than the old numbers.
What changed the trajectory of what they predicted?
There were so many unemployment checks going out, and the state was taking money off the unemployment checks that made up for a lot of the lost income. And then on the sales tax side, consumer spending just didn't dry up like they thought it would. It actually was very strong. People were buying things for their homes. Although a lot of retail stores were closed, people were purchasing all kinds of items online.
Did those behaviors reduce the hole in the budget that we were expecting? Is Michigan now in a good financial position?
It certainly is good news. Michigan definitely isn't out of the hole yet. That $900 million shortfall for 2020 was federal government payments that they sent out to the state. So that was more federal help kind of close that hole. But the state was also predicting a $3 billion shortfall for the year 2021. And that year actually in the fiscal year begins October 1st. Now they're saying it's going to be considerably less, but they're saying they're still going to need federal help to close that hole some more. The concern is that as those federal payments dry up, that consumer spending could also drop off, and these revenues could drop off as well. So they certainly don't feel like they're out of the hole yet.
Is there any instance that Michigan can survive and balance its budget without federal money?
Well, it still has hundreds of $millions in what it calls its rainy day fund. It used some of that money to close the budget gap in 2020. That's one avenue. They could certainly, raise taxes, cut spending, or the other options. None of those are really anything that the state wants to do right now during a pandemic.
Right.
They don't want to drain their savings account, but that would probably be the most likely option if the federal government doesn't come through with more help.
Free Press reporter Paul Egan, thank you so much, Paul, for talking to me. That's the latest. For more information on COVID-19 in Michigan, visit www.freep.com.
I'm Dave Burkett from the Detroit Free Press, and the Detroit Lions put football on the back burner Tuesday and turned their attention to some real-life issues instead. The Lions canceled practice after a long and emotional team meeting in the wake of the Jacob Blake shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Players and coaches talked openly and extensively during their meeting about issues of racial injustice and police brutality, topics they spent a week on this spring after the George Floyd shooting. On Tuesday, the entire team spent about 15 minutes demonstrating in front of the Allen Park practice facility. Duron Harmon, Trey Flowers, and Taylor Decker spoke about the Blake shooting and vowed to be agents for change. Players wheeled out a dry erase board with the message, "We won't be silent," on it, and Matthew Stafford said it's the proudest he's ever been to be a Lion. The Lions will return to practice Wednesday, but they promise they won't let the issues of racial injustice and police brutality lie. I'm Dave Burkett on Freep.com.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out Freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to Freep.com/special offer.